What's cracking, y'all? Today's gonna be a good one again. It's gonna be leaning into fear. It's gonna be a short one, and I'm really not gonna touch on all the elements of fear. That is something we can do in multiple episodes. But today's couple minutes that's gonna be on, it's gonna be talking about leaning into fear. Why am I talking about that today? I'm talking about it because there's 3 points in my life where I felt like a failure and I felt like I failed. Number one, when I went to the Marine Corps, one of my buddies fucking did a beer run and we can go buddy program. And my goal was to get him out from home, because he was doing dumb shit. And I was like, oh, I can help this guy. That didn't happen. He ended up getting locked up for slanging after that. When I was in the Marine Corps, he actually ended up getting shot. And then we had a conversation. And he was like, hey, man, thank you for everything that you've done. I wish I would have went with you. So it was funny one day when we had that conversation. But I really felt like I failed because I didn't help my people achieve what they needed to. Second time was one of my cousins, started getting strung out on drugs, started gang banging. And we grew up since kindergarten together, basically. And preschool, fuck, he was younger than me. So I just felt like a failure because I couldn't lead him in the right direction. I started avoiding him, started avoiding that pain, that fear, whatever it is. And that's the fact is when you feel the fear, when you feel that you cannot do something, when you feel like something is too strenuous or it's going to make you be different than what you are, that's when you need to lean into it. That's when you need to tap into that next thing and really touch up on it. So I'm saying these things not because of me, but I'm saying it because that's what life is people don't understand those things. And for me, I used to have that fear. I had that fear of um, making the image look bad and fucking up and being a failure like a lot of other people or repeating mistakes like my family did. And you know what? It took me further and further and further away from myself, but it also led me down a dangerous path because to compensate for putting on this image that I'm going to be a certain fucking way, to compensate, I was doing worse shit. I was getting faded behind closed doors. I just wasn't living in alignment with myself. I wasn't being the best that I can be. And it led into that. So really, it's been playing with my mind the past couple of days about fear. And the reason why I'm saying lean into the fear when you feel it, because that's the authentic voice of God. That is the Holy Spirit. That is, your conscience is telling you you need to do something. It's exactly that. A lot of times we don't understand that. Intuition's a feminine energy. I didn't fucking know that. Where I come from, it's shut the fuck up, bitch. Get here, do this. Don't be a bitch. We have a different perception about mindset of the way we perceive things, the way we act, to where we may not be able to be ourselves within the full moments at all times. So that was something for me. Was really learning about fear and how I can manipulate it and be better for me. I also mentioned that I have friends that died along the way, and I had a fear. Alan, thank you for saying that, bro. You needed to hear that. I needed you, bro. My boy Alan, I slept on his couch. He really was there for me, and he was the motherfucker. When shit got rough, he would be there. And even to this day, that's my day one homie. Like that's my son's godfather. He shows up more than my own blood does. And the fact is when we look at certain things, and I talked about it, I had dude, what, 6 friends that died, and I started just building these complexes up in my fucking head. I don't need nobody. I don't really want to get close to nobody. No one understands me. No one's really gonna get me, and it just made me go further and further away from myself. The reason why is because I wasn't able to just be authentically me. I wasn't able to just show up and be like, hey, this is the value I have to bring. So really the reason why this hit me, on this topic of why am I going to talk about fear in a different light is because, I'm interacting with the dude who is a great fucking human being. He just hasn't figured it out yet. And I started looking at myself as I'm a failure because I haven't helped this student added enough value for him to change his life around. And then I thought about it after I got some coaching from my boy Miklo last night. And it was funny, like, how am I a failure if I can't lead in the right direction? I can continue, but at the end of the day, that man's gonna have to see it for himself and see what he needs to do to elevate, to get better, whatever it is. So that's really one thing, is you can't be so harsh on yourself, especially when it comes to things and you're providing results. And for me, it was always you need to be this, you need to be that, you need to elevate and be here so you can show up for everybody else. And you know what? It's fucking draining when you got to do that. It's draining when you got to be the one. But at the same time, that's why it is, because it is something that most people never experience. Most people never experience, being the one and understanding that it is you that's going to change your whole fucking family's picture for the rest of their fucking lives. And nobody understands that because a lot of people don't have the recollection, or number two, they just don't want to put in the fucking work. And that was something for me, that I didn't understand. Not going to get too deep into it, but 3 points. When you're faced with that adversity, that fear, you need to get real with yourself. This is why I talk about meditation. This is why I think about going in a dark room, and sitting with your thoughts. Aaron Rodgers, everybody's saying he's this woo woo shit, but sitting in a dark room for a couple days will change the way you fucking think about things. I isolate myself because I need to be able to just think clearly, as well as get in the gym and getting that workout in. And that's number two. Second step is figure out what's going to get you moving for yourself. And that's why they say get a workout first thing in the morning. It's going to make you feel better. That's what's going to help you change repetitions, change life, get better, is by doing the things you don't want to do. So that is second point. Third point is exactly what your goals are in life, what you aspire to be. Now lean into that. The fact is, with fear, we think about it as this complex thing is, oh, I can't do this, right? Let me tell you about my mom, dude. My mom really scared all the time. She always had this scared energy. Oh, we can't do this because we don't have money. We can't do this because it's hard. We can't do this because I don't know if I can do it. Honestly, I fucking hated that mentality, dude. Like that shit made me flip the fuck out. When I was in the fucking Marine Corps and I was going through the boot camp, that's what I remembered. I was thinking about my mom and I was thinking about not achieving and being the best I can be. My boy Seth just died before I went. And I was just like, no, what? Fuck this, dude. And that's where I started taking people's packs. That's where I started fucking helping people. And I'd finish my run, go back, get somebody else. Hey, motherfucker, let's go. And it was that. It was like, how are you going to be a grown ass fucking man and then be copping out and saying, I can't do something? You'll never hear me fucking say I can't do it. If I can't do it, it can't be done. That's the way I perceive it as. And that's the fact is you have to attack these problems with love, with heat, with intensity, and understand that everything that you're doing is for a fucking reason. And that's the reason why you show up differently. So for me, it was leaning into that portion. It was leaning into being better. It was leaning into the fear of being a failure, not being good enough, and to not be what I needed to be. And that is what made me ultimately change. So the fact is a lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people don't think about whatever it is. That's why it was so hard for me growing up. It was one house. It was execute, execute, execute. Dave, thank you for tuning in, bro. One house was execute, 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 and the other house was, oh, we can't do this. It's too scary. We don't have money. We're never going to be here. And I was just like, no, fuck that. You're not going to tell me who I am and what I'm about and how I'm living my life. And that's the fact is anytime you're dealt with that fear, you're dealt with that strong emotion that you don't know if you can do something, it's a sign from God saying that you can do it. The thing is, you're going to get fucking uncomfortable because the only way you can grow is by getting uncomfortable. So didn't mean to get on here for 8 fucking minutes, but hey, that's what it is sometimes. Is we're explaining our thoughts, we're going into it. I'm coming in with a light fucking heart today, not even that much intensity, because I just had a dream about that last night where it was like, hey, sometimes you got to communicate effectively in different ways. And that's the fact is if you fucking get it, you get it. You're going to lean into what you need to be. And it's time to fucking just execute and just be it, because there's so many people that just want to conform to these norms, conform to this fucking bullshit. And honestly, I ain't going to be that one. Peace.